Let me make the motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
For the purpose of discussion?
Okay, Mr. Newman said he had more comments to make. I'm not.
No, Mr. Newman counted to 3 and
Okay.
4 and decided just to keep my mouth shut.
And let's quickly vote.
Under Phase 2, Roman numeral 6, Downtown Redevelopment Project Phase 2, Phase 2
Then the
improvements at the
MOU
downtown medical campus. I don't know if that would be included in there, but
No, where are you? And the development agreement or the MOU?
MOU,
Okay.
Phase 2.
Downtown Redevelopment Project Phase 2. I really,
Yes, they have it.
it might be a small item, it might be a big item, I don't know. But I would really like to see the 24-hour operation as it is allowed, or however you want to put the verbiage in there, Mr. Rep, to include that in the Phase 2 improvements.
If I can make one comment, I know how important this is to Mr. Gallo. This is not an issue that was just raised in the last 10 minutes. That issue, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but that issue has been raised a number of times in executive session, so I know how important it is to him. I just don't know how we can accomplish it at the council right now with a motion on the floor, because what we're asking to do is to have PPH make a change without discussing it with their board. So I don't know how to accomplish it other than to say, you know, can we just try to work this out?
I would be happy to accept, as a second to the motion, to accept Mr. Gallo's recommendation. And I think he indicated the hospital is willing to do that. Right now, it states that we have 23 hours.
But
Well,
we
hold
need to
on,
listen-
because
you
the-
need to listen to what Mr. Newman said. We
I did, okay.
Sam, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but
Okay.
I'm not in favor of that as the maker
Oh,
of the motion
okay.
to add that.
Okay.
But I want to accommodate Mr. Gallo, but I just don't know how this council, I mean, you can add the language in there, but it could be a deal breaker as far as I don't know. I don't know how important this issue is to PPH at this hour. I don't know.
We can simply ask them, they're right here.
Wait, I don't think we can start negotiating this
Okay.
agreement up here on the dais. We have an agreement that we can approve right now, and there's a motion and a second.
Well,
I don't see any nodding heads, so that's
Well,
a problem.
they cannot nod, they're a group, just like we could not nod as an individual, as a council. That's the beauty of this, is two public agencies. They are a body, not individuals.
How do we do that?
So, well, that's what Mr. Newman
Any
asked.
suggestions, Mr. Rep?
Oh, I was just trying to whisper to Mr. Haney across the room here. It's kind of hard. I don't know if PPH would be amenable to inserting, and they have provided us with a list of medical services that is among the range of services they may provide downtown. And they have been very careful about not committing themselves just simply because of the changing needs of their industry. And we've understood that and respected that. I don't know if they would be amenable to including 24 or 23-hour urgent care. They already have urgent care in the list.
Yeah, 23, and then, you know.
23, if they would simply modify that phrase, urgent care, to be 23-hour urgent care if permitted by state law on that list.
No, in that case, it would have to stay 24 if permitted, or from 23 to 24.
But again, I would emphasize to you, this is the way this is set up in terms of the level of medical services and the range. We have intentionally given them the flexibility as to whether or not all of these things go in there. So merely including it on the list is not a guarantee for the council that it will go in down there, simply because of that need to respect their position with respect to the range of services they offer.
but it doesn't even say 23 hours urgent care.
It simply says urgent care right now. So you do have a placeholder in there. I don't know if it goes as far as you want it to go.
Urgent care would then be defined when they put it in, if they choose to put it in there, as 23 or 24, and there's a state restriction about the 24 hours now. So the urgent care is not limited to 23 if at the time state law has changed and they could put 24. It's-
No, there's no limit on the type of urgent care they could provide in the MOU.
But Mayor, according to the plan, it has been provided, the presentation, on the list of in the urgent care, it says 23 hours urgent care. That is the presentation that was done to the community back in August, which I have a copy of. So I thought the agreement was 23 hours urgent care that was suggested by PPH. So now we eliminated the 23 hours?
All it says
it's
right
still in
now
there.
is under 5, it talks about outpatient radiation therapy and oncology services. Oh, and 6, ambulatory services, including urgent care, outpatient surgery, and extended care services.
I thought it was 23 hours urgent care.
That's what, well, that's what it says in the presentation that they made, but the MOU doesn't state that. So
So they can have 1 hour urgent care and fulfill that commitment.
No, they can choose urgent care, and urgent care is 23 or 24 hours, depending on what the state law allows.
But the state allows 23 hours right now.
Right.
So why doesn't say 23 hours? Because it's right here. It's in the presentation that was given to us and to the community. We will provide 23 hours urgent care. And now it's only urgent care. You know, it's very important medical function in the downtown for the community.
I don't have an answer for you.
Urgent care is
convinced-
urgent care.
I'm convinced that PPH is going to do what they
Want
need
me to
to do.
respond or not? Because I think it's fascinating, sitting up here at this late hour to talk about various aspects of medical care and what we know or what we don't know. Now, first of all, let me make it very clear. To have a 24-hour emergency room is a state requirement. By law, we have to have additional other services way beyond having that. And as we've talked before privately, the state has to make that decision. As a matter of fact, the only things that they've been willing to consider is possibly one, when they were closing the Martin Luther King place in L.A. at the time, and they said, well, gee, we need something, so let's consider experimenting, and maybe we'll consider it. It's on no one's radar screen at the state level whatsoever, and it has significant implications for the kind of facility that you've got to maintain, which is one of the reasons why we said, and why the state requires all of the additional requirements of what you've got to have. And we're not prepared to do that at this time. Now, whether it's 23 or it's 15 hours, that really depends upon volume and need and what goes on. We might find that we're going to run a 23-hour facility, as I've done in other places, and you know what? You don't use it for 8 hours because nobody shows up. And you maintain it, and you maintain it, and you say, why do you maintain that? What you do is you establish programs, and then based on the need, you determine flexibility, how long you'd want to keep it. To sit here and legislate, whether it's 23 or 20 hours, the fact that we're going to provide urgent care, the idea is to be able to deal with lumps and bumps, pardon me, the way we say it, and to be able to do it particularly as much as we can after hours or other times when people would use it because the regular emergency room wouldn't be available, or even during the day on that campus as the other place develops. So my point is to try to legislate it, whether it's from up here or in other places, actually just doesn't make practical sense. Now, you asked us to work with you. We'll obviously work with you on every step of the way, with every phase, talking about the programs. Sam, it makes the best sense.
I know.
But I don't want to create things that, for example, that people aren't going to use. If they use it, then it makes sense to have it. And if the state changes it, we'd obviously want to sit down and talk to you. But to legislate it or incorporate it and to negotiate from the podium doesn't really make good sense.
Mike, I appreciate your
Okay.
explanation, and we're not legislating. All what I'm referring to, here is the presentation you made to us. It says ambulatory services,
you.
23 hours urgent care, 23 hours outpatient surgery in an extended care hotel. I'm not legislating. I'm trying to say you have provided this commitment in your presentation, and I'm just asking the question. That is your decision. I'm not making the decision for you. You have made the decision. It's right here in the presentation that was given to me back in August. I'm asking the question, could that be accommodated? Because you have made the decision. I'm not trying to argue about the hours. I'm just going by what you have presented to us. But I still, for the sake of building trust and having this partnership and move forward, I'm going to accept the urgent care as it is and go on the need basis.
Could you call for my question? Call for it.
Yeah, we're ready for, okay, so the motion that we have on the floor is the recommendation without any changes to it that was listed by John Brindle. Now you can clap.